the promoter of Adonis Stevenson, Yvonne Michelle, says that it's their goal to finally face Sergey Kovalev. But first and foremost, Stevenson has to get past a voluntary challenger, Dmitry Sokotsky, in December. And then he's got to have a showdown with Jean Pascal, who's his mandatory challenger, in April. And if he manages to get past both of those fights, according to Yvonne Michelle, they want to set up a Kovalev fight. I don't know how realistic it is, to be honest with you, because Stevenson's with Al Heyman, and I know based on what Al Heyman contracts stipulate, I mean, at the end of the day, contracts are negotiated. There isn't one standard contract that every fighter signs. I would imagine they negotiate terms within the contract. But nonetheless, Heyman seems to have, with most of his fighters, a great deal of say in terms of who the fighters actually fight. Stevenson's 37 years old now. I'm not sure when he turns 38. But if he does fight Kovalev, I imagine it's going to be a cash-out fight. He's going to try and milk his WBC title for as long as he can. And if all goes well and there's no controversial fights in the meantime, then he may cash out with a Kovalev fight. He certainly was never going to fight Kovalev this year. Like I say, he's got Dmitry Sokotsky in December. Then he's got the mandatory against Pascal in April. And I've got the feeling that the Pascal fight might not be plain sailing for Stevenson. These guys do have a history that goes back to the amateur days. And I think Pascal beat Stevenson in the amateurs. I'm not sure if they fought more than once. They definitely fought at least once. And I saw a clip, about a round and a half, of their fight in the amateurs. Obviously, this was a long time ago and things change. But Pascal was getting the better of it. Pascal was actually outboxing Stevenson. So go and have a look at it on YouTube if you ain't seen it. But it's interesting to watch. So I don't know. There could be problems there in the Pascal fight. Could it end up as a controversial, close decision? If it does, then there's a high likelihood of a Pascal-Stevenson rematch if it's close, because these two guys are big earners in Canada. They both draw large crowds. So from the point of view of Stevenson's promoter, who's also Pascal's promoter, Yvonne Michelle, from the point of view of the promoter and the point of view of Al Heyman, it's going to make financial sense to keep it all in-house and do a rematch with Pascal if that fight's close. So the likelihood of him facing Sergey Kovalev is pretty slim at the moment, and it's pretty far off. Right now, it's a pipe dream for us boxing fans. I know Adonis Stevenson has to take care of his career. Boxing, you don't have a long career as a boxer. So you got to get in, make as much money as you can, and get out with your faculties intact. But from a fan's perspective, what Stevenson did by ducking Kovalev really left a sour taste in the mouth of the boxing fans. And at the end of the day, without the fans, the boxers can't make the kind of money that they want to make. Sergey Kovalev is going to reap the rewards of his victory against Bernard Hopkins, because he went out there and he wanted to fight the best. I know Stevenson wanted to fight Hopkins too. That fight didn't come off, whatever. But Kovalev was willing to fight Stevenson. Before Stevenson went off and joined Al Heyman and switched over to Showtime, Kovalev was willing to fight Stevenson. But Stevenson said, "No, that fight's too risky right now. I want to go fight the old man first." And now he's paying the price for that, and Kovalev is going to reap the rewards for that. So it is what it is. Call it divine justice. You know. Drop your comments below, people. Do you think I'm being too pessimistic about this fight? Do you think it can happen next year, maybe the end of next year or in the summer next year if Stevenson gets past Pascal? And how do you think Stevenson will do against Pascal? And this guy as well, this Dmitry Sokotsky, forgive me if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Have you seen this guy fight? I've never even heard of this guy. Have you seen him fight? Do you think he's going to pose Stevenson any problems? Drop your comments in the comment section below. I've seen some of Stevenson's training recently on his Instagram, and he's looking pretty good. He's going to need to look a lot better than he did against Fonfara, because he wasn't impressive in that fight in the latter rounds. He seemed to tire out. And Stevenson is a one-dimensional fighter. he sets up that left hand, and that's all he really has. Earlier on in his career, he used to trade more on the inside, but he stopped doing that ever since he got knocked out by Darnell Boone. Now he just keeps things on the outside because he's got incredibly long arms for his height, a 77-inch reach, incredible. Much longer than Hopkins or Kovalev or pretty much any of the light heavyweights out there, rather than maybe Chad Dawson. Stevenson's got this incredibly long arm, so he uses that reach and keeps guys on the outside and just tries to shoot that left hand like a sniper. And that's his entire game. He doesn't really have a solid left jab, solid right jab, sorry, because he's a southpaw. Don't really have a solid right jab. Just paws with the right jab and tries to set up that big left. And it's worked for him so far, but the longer a fight goes and the more he slows down, fighters can get close to him, as Fonfara did in, that fight. And Fonfara was able to drop him and make Stevenson look not that great. Even though Stevenson did win fairly comfortably on the cards, it was an uncomfortable night's work for him. So, yeah, drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel about everything I've talked about in this video. This is Hatman, I'm out.